Nobody caught it at first. It was quick, subtle, almost like it wasn't meant to be noticed. But now, it's all anyone can talk about. Because according to what fans are piecing together online, Drake may have just made one small mistake. That revealed something way bigger than anyone expected. And the name at the center of it all? Kendrick Lamar? Yeah, you heard that right. Social media is going crazy right now trying to connect the dots between a recent moment involving Drake and what some people believe could be linked to Kendrick's legal defense strategy. Fans are shocked. And the theories? They're getting deeper by the minute. Some are saying Drake accidentally exposed something he wasn't supposed to. Others believe it's just coincidence, blown way out of proportion by the internet. But then there's that third group, the ones who think this was intentional, a calculated move. And that's where things get intense, because if even part of this is true, or even close to true, it could change how people look at this entire situation. Not just as a rap beef, but something way more layered, way more strategic. Unconfirmed reports suggest that certain details being discussed online might connect to behind-the-scenes moves most fans never get to see. But at the same time, nothing is confirmed. And that's exactly what's making this situation feel so unpredictable. You've got people refreshing their feeds, breaking down clips frame by frame, analyzing every word, every reaction, every pause. Because in today's hip-hop world, sometimes the biggest reveals don't come from interviews or statements. They come from mistakes. And if this really was a mistake, then Drake might have just said way more than he meant to. To really understand why this moment has people reacting so strongly, you have to look at the long-standing tension between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. This isn't just a surface-level rivalry built on headlines. It's something that has been developing for years through subtle competition, lyrical jabs, and moments that fans have analyzed over and over again. Both artists are known for being extremely calculated. Every move they make, whether it's a song, an interview, or even a social media post, tends to feel intentional. That's why this situation is hitting differently. Because if someone like Drake appears to make a mistake, fans immediately start questioning whether it was really a mistake at all. The moment in question didn't come from a major announcement or a direct statement. Instead, it was something much smaller, something that might have gone unnoticed if it involved anyone else. But because it's Drake, people paid attention. Social media is saying that a brief clip, a few words, or even a reaction caught during a recent appearance may have hinted at something deeper. Some fans believe it connects to discussions around Kendrick Lamar's legal positioning, while others think it could simply be unrelated and misunderstood. Since there's no official confirmation explaining the context, everything being discussed right now is based on interpretation. As soon as the clip started spreading, the internet did what it always does. People slowed it down, replayed it, and started breaking it apart, piece by piece. So every word was examined, every expression analyzed. Fans are shocked at how quickly one small moment turned into a full-blown theory. Some people think Drake may have referenced something he wasn't supposed to mention publicly, while others believe the connection to Kendrick is being forced by fans who are already invested in the rivalry. And right there, you can see the divide starting to form. What makes this situation even more intense is the timing. Both artists have been part of ongoing conversations in hip-hop, whether through music releases, rumored tensions, or public appearances. So when something like this surfaces, it doesn't exist in isolation. It immediately gets tied into everything else people have been watching. Unconfirmed reports suggest that there could be legal or behind-the-scenes elements connected to Kendrick's situation that fans are only now starting to speculate about. But again, nothing is confirmed, and that uncertainty is driving the conversation forward. There's also the question of intent. Some fans believe this could have been an accidental slip, something that Drake didn't realize would be interpreted the way it is now. Others are not so sure. They think it might have been deliberate, a subtle way of sending a message without saying too much directly. In the world of hip-hop, where indirect communication is often just as powerful as direct statements, That idea doesn't feel impossible to many people. Still, without clear evidence, it remains a theory. At the same time, there are voices urging caution. Some people are pointing out that the internet has a tendency to overanalyze moments and turn them into something bigger than they actually are. They're reminding others that clips can be misleading when taken out of context, and that not everything needs to have a deeper meaning. These fans are asking for patience, saying it's better to wait for more information before jumping to conclusions. But in a fast-moving online space, that kind of patience is hard to find. Meanwhile, the emotional energy surrounding the situation continues to grow. People are invested, not just because of the potential implications, but because of what Drake and Kendrick represent in hip-hop. This isn't just about one moment. It's about legacy, competition, and perception. Every small detail feels important because fans believe it could reveal something bigger about what's really going on behind the scenes. As the conversation continues, one thing becomes clear. This moment, whether it turns out to be significant or not, has already captured the attention of the entire hip-hop community. And with so many questions still unanswered, the curiosity is only getting stronger. Everyone is watching closely, waiting to see if more information comes out or if this remains one of those moments that keeps people guessing. As the clip continued to spread, the situation quickly shifted from curiosity to full-blown chaos. What started as a small moment turned into a massive online debate, with fans dissecting every second and building entire theories around it. Social media is going crazy, and the conversation is no longer controlled by facts alone. It's being driven by interpretation, emotion, and speculation. Fans are shocked at how something so brief could spark such a huge reaction. But at the same time, this is exactly how moments like this explode in today's hip-hop culture. Supporters of Drake began defending him almost immediately. Some people think the situation is being exaggerated, arguing that the clip doesn't actually prove anything. They're saying that fans are connecting dots that may not even be related, turning a simple moment into something much bigger than it really is. According to this group, Drake's words, or whatever people believe they heard, could have been taken completely out of context. And without full footage or a clear explanation, they believe it's unfair to jump to conclusions. But, on the other side, a much louder reaction started forming. Some fans believe there's no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to artists at this level. They're pointing out that Drake has built a reputation for being calculated and strategic, which makes it hard for them to believe that anything he says publicly is accidental. In their eyes, if something slipped out, it might not have been a mistake at all. It could have been intentional, or at the very least, meaningful. And when you add Kendrick Lamar into that conversation, the stakes immediately feel higher. Unconfirmed reports suggest that the moment people are analysing might connect to ongoing discussions about Kendrick's legal positioning or strategies happening behind the scenes. However, nothing is confirmed, and there's no official statement supporting these claims. Still, that hasn't stopped the theories from growing. Some people are even suggesting that Drake's alleged mistake could hint at knowledge that isn't meant to be public yet. Others think that's going too far, saying it's more likely a case of fans reading into something that simply isn't there. Then came the first major twist in how people were viewing the situation. A few users online started breaking down the clip in a completely different way, suggesting that what everyone thought they heard might not even be accurate. According to some interpretations, the wording or context may have been misunderstood, and once you look at the full sequence, it could change the meaning entirely. This idea began spreading quickly, causing some fans to pause and reconsider their initial reactions. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't as clear as it first seemed. People are divided, and the divide is becoming more intense with every passing hour. One side is convinced that something important was revealed, while the other side believes the entire situation is built on a misunderstanding. And then, there are those who are stuck in the middle, unsure what to believe but still deeply invested in finding out the truth. This kind of uncertainty is what keeps the conversation alive, because as long as there's no clear answer, every theory feels possible. At the same time, hip-hop media pages and influencers started amplifying the situation even further. Headlines became more dramatic, captions became more suggestive, and the story began to take on a life of its own. Some platforms leaned into the idea that Drake had exposed something significant, while others tried to present both sides, reminding viewers that nothing is confirmed. But regardless of how it was framed, the exposure brought even more attention, pulling in people who hadn't even seen the original clip. Emotions ran high as fans continued to debate what this could mean moving forward. Some are saying this moment could reignite tensions between Drake and Kendrick, turning what has been a long-standing rivalry into something more direct again. Others believe it's just another example of how quickly narratives can spiral out of control in the digital age. Either way, the impact is undeniable. What started as a small moment has now become one of the most talked-about topics in hip-hop, and it doesn't look like the conversation is slowing down anytime soon. With so many interpretations and no confirmed answers, again the situation feels more unpredictable than ever. And as more people join the discussion, the pressure continues to build, setting the stage for whatever comes next. As the conversation kept growing, the energy around the situation shifted from curiosity into something much heavier. It wasn't just fans debating anymore, it felt like the entire hip-hop community had tuned in, each person trying to make sense of a moment that still didn't have a clear explanation. Fans are shocked, but now that shock is mixed with tension, because the more people talk about it, the more serious it starts to feel. What seemed like a small slip is now being treated like a potential turning point, and that pressure is building fast. Supporters of Kendrick Lamar started becoming more vocal, especially as theories began linking the situation to something deeper. Some fans believe that if there is any truth to what's being suggested, it could reflect a level of strategy happening behind the scenes that most people don't fully understand. They're pointing out that Kendrick has always moved carefully, often staying quiet while letting his work speak for itself. So the idea that something complex could be happening in the background doesn't feel impossible to them. Still, they're also emphasizing that nothing is confirmed, and that it's important not to turn speculation into fact. At the same time, attention remained focused on Drake and what his role in all of this might be. Some people think he may have unintentionally said more than he realized, especially if the moment being discussed wasn't meant to be analyzed so closely. Others are not convinced it was accidental at all. In their view, Drake is too experienced, too aware of how the internet works to make a careless mistake on that level. This has led to a growing theory that the moment could have been deliberate, a subtle way of influencing the narrative without making a direct statement. Of course, that remains just a theory, but it's one that keeps gaining attention. Social media is going crazy, and the conversations are becoming more intense with every passing hour. Fans are no longer just sharing opinions, they're debating with real emotion. People are divided, and the arguments are getting deeper, moving beyond just this one moment and into broader discussions about rivalry, respect, and how information spreads in the modern era. Some users are even bringing up past interactions between Drake and Kendrick, trying to connect this situation to a larger pattern. Whether those connections are valid or not, they're adding another layer to an already complicated story. Unconfirmed reports suggest that there may be additional details that haven't surfaced yet, and that possibility is keeping people on edge. Some fans believe there could be more context that would either confirm the current theories or completely change how everything is being interpreted. Others think that even if new information comes out, it might not provide the clarity people are hoping for. Because in situations like this, where so much is built on perception, the truth doesn't always settle the debate. It sometimes makes it even more complicated. What's becoming increasingly clear is how much this situation is affecting the way people view both artists. This isn't just about one moment anymore. It's about reputation and perception. Some fans are standing firmly behind their favorite artist, refusing to believe anything that could reflect negatively on them. Others are taking a more critical approach, saying that every possibility should be considered until the truth is known. And then there are those who are simply watching, trying to stay neutral while the conversation continues to evolve around them. Behind all the noise, there's also a quieter realization starting to emerge. This entire situation highlights how quickly narratives can form and spread, especially when high-profile names are involved. A single moment, taken out of context or misunderstood, can turn into something much bigger within hours. And once that narrative takes hold, it becomes difficult to control, even if new information comes out later. That's part of what makes this situation feel so unpredictable. No one really knows how it will unfold next. As the tension continues to rise, it feels like everything is leading toward a moment of clarity, but that moment hasn't arrived yet. Instead, the conversation keeps expanding, pulling in more voices, more theories, and more speculation. And with each new perspective, the story becomes even more layered. Right now, all anyone can do is watch closely, because whatever happens next could either confirm what people believe or completely change the way this entire situation is understood. As everything builds toward what feels like a breaking point, the atmosphere around this situation becomes even more intense. And the conversation is no longer just about what was said or what might have been implied. It's about what it all means moving forward. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and social media is going crazy trying to keep up with a story that keeps shifting every time a new perspective is introduced. At this stage, it feels like everyone is waiting for something definitive, some kind of clarity that can either confirm the theories or shut them down completely. But instead of answers, what people are getting is more uncertainty. At the center of it all are Drake and Kendrick Lamar, two artists whose names alone carry enough weight to turn any situation into a major moment. The idea that one brief clip could connect them in a way that hints at something deeper has kept fans locked in. Some people believe this could be a turning point, and not just in how this situation is understood, but in how their rivalry evolves from here. Others think the entire situation might fade once more context is revealed, proving that the internet simply moved too fast. Unconfirmed reports suggest that there may be behind-the-scenes conversations or legal angles that the public doesn't fully understand. And that's what keeps the speculation alive. Some fans believe Drake's moment may have unintentionally aligned with something Kendrick has going on, while others think the connection is being forced by people looking for a bigger story. Nothing is confirmed, but that hasn't slowed down the discussion. If anything, it has made people more curious, more invested, and more eager to figure out what's really going on. What feels like the biggest turning point isn't necessarily a new piece of information, but a shift in how people are reacting. A growing number of fans are starting to question the entire narrative, asking whether the moment that sparked all of this was ever as significant as it seemed. Some believe that the clip may have been misunderstood from the beginning, and that everything built on top of it is based on an incorrect assumption. Others are pushing back against that idea, saying that even if details were misinterpreted, the reaction itself says something important about how people view both artists. People are divided more than ever, and that divide is creating an emotional intensity that's hard to ignore. On one side, there are those who feel convinced that something real was revealed, something that points to a deeper layer behind the scenes. On the other side, there are those who see this as a clear example of how quickly speculation can turn into belief without solid evidence. And in between those two sides are fans who are simply trying to make sense of everything, watching the conversation unfold without fully committing to one perspective. What makes this moment stand out is how much it reflects the current state of hip-hop culture and online media. Information moves fast, reactions move even faster, and by the time clarity arrives, the narrative has often already taken shape. This situation feels like a perfect example of that cycle. A small moment sparks curiosity. Curiosity turns into theory, and theory turns into widespread belief, all before anything is officially confirmed. At the same time, there's a growing sense that something still hasn't been revealed. Some people think there could be more details waiting to surface, something that could either validate the current theories or completely flip the narrative. Others believe that what we've already seen is all there is, and that the rest is simply the result of over-analysis. Either way, the anticipation is still there, and it's not going away anytime soon. Right now, everything feels unresolved. The questions are still there, the debates are still ongoing, and the truth remains just out of reach. Fans continue to watch, analyze, and react, knowing that any new detail could change everything once again. And until something concrete emerges, the situation will remain exactly where it is, caught between speculation and reality, with everyone trying to figure out which one they're actually looking at. At the end of the day, this whole situation is still surrounded by questions. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and social media is going crazy trying to figure out what really happened. Some people believe this was a simple misunderstanding that got blown out of proportion, while others think Drake may have revealed something much deeper without even realizing it. But the truth is, nothing is confirmed. And until we get something official, everything we're seeing is based on theories, reactions, and speculation. What makes this even more interesting is how divided people are. One side is convinced this moment means something big, while the other side believes the internet just connected dots that were never meant to be connected. And honestly, that's what keeps this story alive: the mystery, the tension, and the fact that no one really knows the full picture yet. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think really happened? Do you think Drake made a mistake? Or was this something intentional? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, let's talk about it. And if you want more content like this, breaking down the biggest moments in hip-hop with real storytelling, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Because trust me, this story might not be over yet.